Have you ever felt like, kind of like you're being pulled in two different directions in a relationship? Like you want to be close to someone, but you don't want to lose yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're diving deep into that today. How to stay close,
Yeah.
but without becoming, too close.
Right.
So we've got these excerpts from how to stay close without losing yourself. And it really gets into like the nitty-gritty of how to balance that.
Hmm.
What I found really interesting is how this piece jumps right into the psychology behind all of this.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't just like, say be independent.
Yeah.
It really explains like why that's important for us.
Yeah, it talks about this concept called differentiation of self, which is really about being able to keep your own identity, your own values, even when you're super close to someone.
Hmm.
Kind of like, if you think of two plants growing next to each other, they can like intertwine and support each other, but they still need their own separate roots. Okay, that makes total sense. I was just thinking about this because the article really highlights this idea of boundaries too. And that's something I think can be tough to navigate.
Mm,
Not walls,
right.
but healthy boundaries.
Yeah, for sure.
And actually, I had this experience recently with a friend of mine.
Oh, yeah.
She was going through a really, really rough time, and I wanted to be there for her.
Of course. Yeah.
And I was, like, I was happy to listen, offer advice, all that.
Yeah.
But I kind of started to feel a little, I don't know, resentful.
Yeah.
And I realized it was because I wasn't really taking care of my own needs.
Mm.
And it made me realize that, you know what, I got to set some boundaries here.
Right.
But oh my gosh, I was so scared to hurt her feelings.
I think that's such a common fear. People worry that setting a boundary is going to like damage the relationship.
Totally.
But actually, you know, it can do the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
It can create this much more sustainable, authentic connection.
Yeah, yeah. So what did you do? What kind of boundaries did you set?
Okay, so first, I had to be honest with myself about what I could and couldn't offer.
Yeah.
And then I told her,
Okay.
straight up. I told her that I really cared about her and I wanted to support her, but I also needed some time for myself to just recharge.
Yeah.
So we talked about some specific ways that I could help, like that felt manageable for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I also like recommended some other resources that I thought could be helpful.
Oh, that's great.
Things like that. It wasn't easy to have that conversation.
Yeah.
But I think in the end, it actually made our friendship stronger.
That's awesome. And it's just like a perfect example of how, clear communication and setting those boundaries,
Yeah,
they actually improve the relationship
they do.
and they help prevent like all that resentment from building up.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And then there's this other part of the article that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
It's about like personal growth within relationships.
Yeah.
And it almost frames it as if like growing as a person actually makes you closer.
It definitely can.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
It doesn't have to be this like either or thing.
Yeah.
When you're growing, evolving as a person, it's like you're constantly bringing all these new things to the relationship.
Oh, I see.
Like new perspectives, experiences, and that just makes the relationship richer.
Mm.
Plus, if you're growing, you're more equipped to handle the challenges that come up.
Yeah. Okay. That's a really good point. So it's almost like you're encouraging each other to grow individually.
Exactly.
And that like benefits the relationship as a whole.
It's like having this shared garden.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
I'm wondering though, like, how do we actually support a partner's growth in a way that doesn't feel, I don't know, threatening or competitive?
That's a great question. And I think it really starts with communication.
Okay.
Like be genuinely interested in what they're doing, ask questions, celebrate their wins,
Hmm.
and even better, do things together.
Like what?
Like take a class together, try a new hobby, something like that. The important thing is to approach it with this sense of excitement and like you're on the same team.
So true. So true. It's a totally different way of looking at it. It's not like me versus you. It's like we're in this together.
Exactly.
We both benefit.
And I think the best relationships are the ones where both people feel like they can be their full selves, both together and apart.
So much to think about. It's this constant balancing act.
It is.
But man, it's definitely worth it to figure it out.
For sure.
So everyone listening, what are some ways that you nurture your own passions, your own individuality, while also being in these deep, meaningful relationships?
Yeah, that's the question.
There's no easy answer, but it's a journey worth taking.
Absolutely.
That's all for today's deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See you then.